that covers a great distance. They still have not been able to find the boundaries of the underground chasm. For that reason, we're being very deliberate, and I understand that being deliberate is very painful to the folks who've experienced the loss today. They would like us to go in quickly. They would like us to locate Mr. Bush, but as I told the family earlier, the only thing that would be worse than what they're feeling now for their loss would be to experience additional human loss. And I cannot in good conscience have additional people on this site when I'm being told that it's seriously unstable. So that's the dilemma. And that dilemma is a very painful dilemma for everyone. We're very frustrated, but we're pursuing it as quickly as we can, as safely as we can. Now, in a minute, I'm going to introduce our fire chief, Ron Rogers. He can give you more details. And then we also have representatives of the county's independent engineers who've been studying the site. And again, I will say we're doing everything we possibly can. Now, I know that you're all very interested in what's happening here. You have a job to do. I understand that. I would simply ask you to respect the feelings and the privacy of the families and the neighbors who are going through a terrible time. I spent some time with them before I came over here, and they're very distraught. So while you're getting your story and doing your job, please respect their privacy, respect the painful time. At this point, I will turn over the presentation to our fire chief, Ron Rogers, and he can answer some of your more detailed questions. Thank you all very much. Sure. Last name is Merrill, M-E-R-R-I-L-L. Mike. Mike. Michael. And again, I'm county administrator for Hillsborough County. And it's Mike Merrill, M-E-R-R-I-L-L. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Ron Rogers. I'm the fire chief for Hillsborough County Fire Rescue. The information that we have, in addition to what Mr. Merrill shared with you, as he said, we're still trying to define the scope of this cavern that's under the ground here. We're trying to determine what, if anything, we can do to try and get into the structure, or determine whether we can even enter the structure or do anything with it. At this point, as the engineers will share with you in a few moments, this is a very complex situation. It's a very complex collapse. It is continuing to evolve, meaning the ground is continuing to collapse, and they can't give us any answers right now on when we can get in there and if we can get in there. I do want to share with you, we have the deputy here tonight that was the one that went in and rescued the brother who was attempting to rescue Mr. Bush. And I do want to bring up Deputy Duvall. And
my name is Douglas Duvall with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. I was the first one on the scene as far as the first responders go. The basics of it, which you guys already all know, when I arrived, the family was outside. I entered the house. We really didn't know what was going on from our dispatch call. All we had was a 911 call that had the basic layout that somebody was trapped under a house. When I went into the house, the family was outside. Everybody was upset. I entered, I went into the hallway, and when I turned into the bedroom, the only thing that I saw was a hole, and the hole took the entire bedroom. I looked down, and I saw Mr. Bush, Jeremy Bush, in the hole, and he was on the sides trying to get out. The deepest part of the hole, I was looking, you could see the bed frame, the dresser, everything was sinking. I reached down around floor level, kind of like you're sticking your hand into the floor, got Mr. Bush by his hand and pulled him out. I looked, and I saw no one else in the hole. we turned and we left. I was met by Hillsborough County Fire. One of their engines arrived and a crew member got off, came inside. We went back and he assessed and it was a sinkhole, and they closed the house off because of the safety of it. The sinkhole was still collapsing, and it wasn't safe for anybody else to go in.
We'll do questions in a moment. Okay. We'll take questions in a moment. I next want to bring up Bill Bracken. He's one of our structural specialists with our urban search and rescue team, and he's going to give you some information on what they have found so far.
Good morning. Good evening. My name is Bill Bracken. I'm with Bracken Engineering, and I'm here on behalf of Hillsborough County's urban search and rescue team. I was one of the responders last evening, and I can basically brief you on last night and what we have done through the day today. Last evening, when we got to the site, there was a hole in the ground, and the entire bedroom floor was missing. It had fallen into the hole. There was nothing visible. Everything had been pulled down into the sand. Over the course of the next 90 minutes, that hole went from about 15 feet deep to about 25 feet deep. The hole did not change in diameter. It still remains at about 20 to 30 feet in diameter. What has happened over the course of the day is it is continuing to deepen, and anything that falls in there, as items continue to fall in from the house, get pulled down in. The objective today was to determine what was safe, how far we could approach it, how close we could get to approach it, so as to determine what we could do to begin to extricate. What we discovered through the course of the testing that went on all day today, both through ground penetrating radar, electrical resistivity, and then cone penetrometer, was that there is a very large, very fluid mass underneath this house, rendering the entire house and the entire lot dangerous and unsafe. Unsafe for equipment or any type of vibration. That's going to severely limit what we're doing. So at this point, we are still trying to determine the extent and the nature of what's down there so that we can best determine how to approach it and how to extricate. As far as describing what we have found and what is down there, I'm going to leave that to Mr. Madrid, who we brought in as a recognized sinkhole, a specialist in the field of sinkholes.
Thank you, Bill. My name is Larry Madrid. I'm president of Madrid Engineering Group, and we've investigated several thousand subsidence situations with houses and other buildings in Florida. So I'm familiar with this situation, but this is actually unprecedented. The investigation so far to determine what is happening down below the ground, we have determined that it is a sinkhole that has caused this. We've determined that there was an initial collapse, followed very shortly by another collapse, and we have noticed movement in the ground since then. As Bill said, the hole has gotten deeper. We've investigated around the building because we can't get into the building right now due to the potential for a sudden collapse. The reason there is a potential for sudden collapse is because we know that the side slopes of the hole is still very steep, and the soil is extremely soft based on the soundings that we've done in the front and the back of the house. This tells us that eventually the sinkhole will continue to grow as the sides begin to slough, material will slough into the hole, and the sides will begin to be flatter slope. The soil cannot hold the slope that it has right now, so we do expect the sinkhole to continue to grow. The investigation will continue to find the limits and delineate the extents of the soft zone. We do know that at both the front and the back of the house, there's approximately 25 feet of superficial sand that is in a soft condition or loose condition. Below that, from about 25 to 55 feet, perhaps as much as 60 feet, we're finding a clayey, silty sand that is in a very, very soft condition. We've also measured the water pressure, and there's indications that there is movement continued based on the water pressure. Finally, limestone was encountered below a depth of 57 feet in the two borings. We're going to continue to investigate so that we can find the edge of this and allow equipment to be placed on the safe edge for additional investigations. Thank you.